You thought I was going to sing. Now, some of my fellow podcasters have been doing an amazing job putting out some songs there for you. And if I'm being truthful, I can carry a note, but I've long since resigned the fact that I'm not a soloist and I'm not got a music performing career ahead of me. Now, as a kid, I took piano lessons, and I have been a part of some singing groups. I am a part of the music team from time to time at our church, and I enjoy music. But a long time ago, I knew that a music career wasn't for me. The truth was, I just wasn't passionate about it enough to do the hard work, to do the next steps. I fought with my parents when I was preteen to get out of piano because I didn't like doing the work at times. I wish I would have went a little bit further, but that's the past. I haven't taken vocal lessons because I don't have big aspirations of doing more with music. I just like to serve when I can and sing for fun. But one of the things about anything in life is that if you're passionate about something, you're willing to do the next steps. And I want to talk to you about a story about what it means to take the next step. In the book of Mark, we read, I got the big paper Bible today, so this is good. You know it's going to be good. In Mark chapter 10, we hear the story of the rich young ruler many of us are familiar with. And it says this starting at verse 17. It says, as Jesus started on his way, so Jesus is leaving town, a man ran up to him and fell on his knees before him and said, good teacher, he asked, what must I do to inherit eternal life? So we've got Jesus leaving town, and this gentleman runs up, probably because it's his last chance. He's leaving town, and he gets down on his knees and says, good teacher, he asked, what must I do to inherit eternal life? You know, so often we focus on the end of this story where it kind of ends on a negative note. But he comes with such good intention and a good question, like, what's my next step? What am I missing? Jesus responds saying, why do you call me good? Jesus answered, no one is good except God alone. So he's affirming in this young man that he sees he's good, because everyone assumes they're good, but Jesus says, actually, nobody's good except for God. So if you think I'm good, maybe you're seeing that I'm God. You know the commandments: do not murder, do not commit adultery, do not steal, do not give false testimony, do not defraud, honor your father and mother. Teacher, he declared, all these things I've kept since I was a boy. Jesus looked at him and loved him. One thing you lack, he said. Go, sell everything that you have, give it to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. Then come and follow me. At this, the man's face fell, as many of us know. He went away sad because he had great wealth. I think what this young person did was such a great thing. He had lots, and he was trying to live a right life. He was trying to do good. And he came and he said, what's my next step? But what I think happens to a lot of us, sometimes when God brings that next step, we got to ask, am I actually willing to do what he wants me to do? Many times we say that, God, I'll give you everything, and then he asks for something, and we kind of go like, oh, I don't know if I can give that. Now this person, they seemingly couldn't make the sacrifice. The thing that Jesus wanted for him was to give up everything he had for the poor, but maybe more importantly, he wanted to offer him an invitation to give up that stuff, come and follow me. Maybe had this young man made a different decision, maybe we would have had 13 disciples instead of 12. Maybe he was offering a life of walking on a journey, learning and doing things, but he had to give up the other things. Being a Christian, being one who follows God, isn't just about living right, following the rules, or doing good. It's about taking the next step in your journey. It's saying, God, what do you want me to give up? Where do you want me to go that puts what you want ahead of what I want? Can I be frank with you? I think there's a lot of Christians who go along that journey to a point and then they stop. There's certain things that they just won't go up. Now, I hesitate to say this because I know that some of my friends have said this to me, but can we be honest? Jesus commands that we get water baptized. And I've had people say, well, I just can't do it. I can't get up in front of people. Or, you know what, it's just, I don't want to do it on a Sunday. I want it to be this really special moment, and I'm waiting for the right circumstance. And you've been waiting for years because you want it to be how you want it to be. Not willing to just follow the commandment and go and do it. We don't see people in the New Testament, when they become saved, we don't see them stop and go like, oh, that water's not quite right, or I don't have the right people around. Like, can we do it? No, they get baptized because they want to show. They just want to follow the steps of obedience. You know, recently my own pastor shared at our church, at Family Christian Center, about tithing, and so many people continue to just lack trust in God with their finances, right? This is the very story that we're talking about here, where people come along, this guy comes along and Jesus says, you got to give it up for me. So at the end of the day, I challenge you with this. It's one thing to ask the question, God, what do you want from me? But it's another thing to be in a place in our heart that we're actually willing to give up or do anything that he would ask. Complete surrender was what Christ is looking for. It takes a while to get there, but anybody can do it. It's a matter of choice. It's a matter of saying, God, your will and not mine. So I implore you, if you're somebody who's been searching after Christ a long time, I ask you, what are some of the things that maybe Christ is asking you to do that you've previously said, that's just a little too far? Maybe it's entering the mission field. Maybe it's getting water baptized. Maybe it's allowing your hands to raise in church. I don't know. I also want to just leave this point for some of you. I love the idea that this young man comes to Jesus looking. He calls him good. Some of you, the next step of the journey is to simply say, God, you are good. Or why do you call me? Why do people call you good? Go looking. I implore you, if you don't know Christ, maybe your next step is to just be honest and say, I'm willing to search. I'm willing to give him a chance and ask some questions. But for those of us who know him, God asks for our all. And it doesn't mean he's going to take it, but he's looking for that willingness to be used. Be challenged today. Be blessed today.